你是个骗子！
我骗你什么了？
骗我钱了？骗我什么？我跟你说，老师，他打着跟我结婚的目的啊，骗我20-30万。
你再说一遍，20-30万有多少个数字？我问你，
你别给我扯这么多。
你挣过吗？啊，你见过那么多钱吗？
我没有啊，我没有。你跟我结婚干什么？
你挣过那么多钱吗？
结婚的时候没给我要彩礼吗？
说清楚呀！
结完婚没让我给你买东西吗？
你再说一遍。
The woman met her blind date just a few days before and already wanted a flash marriage. Before the wedding they had not even held hands, but after receiving a huge bride price and a set of gold jewelry, the wedding was hastily held. On the third day after the wedding, she directly pulled out an excessive agreement for her husband to sign, threatening that if he did not sign she would immediately divorce. The husband could no longer tolerate it, and together with his wife's ex-boyfriend, angrily exposed his newlywed wife's true face on the spot. The woman then completely lost her composure.
我告诉你啊，今天我来这儿，我也是做了充足的准备，不然我不可能坐在这儿啊。他不只骗我的钱，他还骗他前男友的钱。你骗你前男友那10几万呢？
我骗我前男友10几万？你从哪知道的？
我告诉你，你前男友我今天带来了。
报人是吧？请坐。
好好看清楚。哎，
你走啥？
你走什么呀？
你走什么？是不是觉得你把柄到了？
你今天把他带过来，就是对我最大的侮辱。
坐哪？
你别再给我装了啊！
别给我装了，
就是指清你的真面目，知道吧？
坐哪去？
不跟你玩了。
立成，哎，
不跟我玩了？你觉得是在玩吗？
别动，别动！
你是不是觉得你的把柄来了，你控制不住了？
我告诉你，你还有脸过来找我？
我有脸，你谁有脸啊？你骗我们俩的钱，你还说我们有我有没有脸？
The quarreling couple in front were a pair of newlyweds. The slim, beautiful woman was the wife Bing Bing. Opposite her the handsome young man with graceful manners was the husband Xiao Cheng. Xiao Cheng said that he and his wife met through blind date. He was a small boss of a training company, while before marriage his wife had always been in Fujian starting her own business, doing internet-related work. Xiao Cheng said that at the first sight on blind date he took a liking to her, not only beautiful, good figure, but also an independent woman. After further communication, they found they got along very well. After a few days of contact they acknowledged each other, and before long stepped into marriage. But what Xiao Cheng never imagined was, the gentle and considerate wife before marriage, after marriage completely changed, not only making trouble unreasonably, but now making the household restless, and also wanting divorce. Xiao Cheng thought back to all the abnormal behaviors of his wife before marriage, and felt she was a love scammer. Wife Bing Bing, hearing her husband's accusations, instantly became emotional, loudly responding, "Why do I want divorce? Don't you have a clue in your heart? If it weren't for you secretly doing those shameful things, would I do this? You say I am a love scammer, what did I cheat you of?" The husband Xiao Cheng was angered again by his wife's attitude, directly exposing on the spot something his wife had done on the third day after the wedding when she returned to her mother's house, something hard to talk about.
你是个赤裸裸的骗子，
立成。
我告诉你啊，你对我的态度决定我对你的态度。
我什么骗子？你再说一遍。
两位，
你是个骗子。
哎，立成，说话讲证据，怎么就过不好了呢？你告诉我，最终18万8把媳妇儿迎娶进门了，然后呢？
结完婚第3天，他该回门的时候，早上呢礼品啊什么都准备好了，正要出门的那一刻，站在门前面，他拦住我，兜里就这样直接掏出来一张协议，让我签字儿。
协议？什么协议？
我跟我前妻有一个孩子，他要让我跟那个孩子断绝关系。如果见面的话，见面一次罚5万块钱。他连字都签好了。你之前答应我的呀。他连字都签好了，就差我自己签字了呀。
你之前答应我的呀。
我之前怎么答应你了？我告诉你啊，我从来没有说过。
Xiao Cheng spoke angrily. On the third day of marriage, according to local custom, it was the day for the new bride to return to her mother's house. But just as they were about to go out, his wife blocked the door, took out an agreement for him to sign, and with a tough attitude said, "If you don't sign then we divorce." This left Xiao Cheng stunned on the spot. This was only the third day of marriage, not to mention a honeymoon, not even a week had passed, the wife's attitude had changed too fast. That was not all, but after seeing the contents of the agreement, he became even more furious. Xiao Cheng said he married Bing Bing as a second marriage, and had a 3-year-old son with his ex-wife, after divorce raised by the ex-wife. The content of the agreement was for him to sever all ties with his ex-wife, including with his 3-year-old biological son. This made Xiao Cheng feel his wife was just looking for trouble. The son is his own flesh and blood, how could he sever ties? Before Xiao Cheng finished, wife Bing Bing loudly responded, "Are you farting with your words? Before marriage you clearly promised me, now you turn your face and deny." Xiao Cheng saw his once gentle and considerate new bride, now facing him as if he were an enemy, instantly became furious, loudly retorting he had never said that. To say severing ties with the ex-wife, that he had said, but he had never said sever ties with his biological son. Seeing the two were emotional and about to quarrel again, the host hurried to mediate, and asked Bing Bing, "Before marriage did you know about your husband's situation?" Bing Bing said she knew her husband was in a second marriage and had a son, but the things her husband had hidden from her were simply unbearable. Then what Bing Bing said next shocked everyone on the scene.
我没嫌弃你是个二婚的，都不错了吧？我不瞒你说，我跟李成住在一块的时候，他就是让我跟他父母住在一起，正好他的前妻也在那个小区住，相当于我们是住在一个小区。
这么巧吗？你前妻跟你住一个小区？
是的。
对，这还真是挺尴尬的呀。
Bing Bing emotionally said, she knew her husband was in a second marriage and had a child with his ex-wife, but what she never expected was that her husband's ex-wife and son lived in the same community as them, seeing each other every day, and this she absolutely could not accept. Hearing this, the guests and host on site were very surprised. The host asked in doubt, "Is it true, husband?" Xiao Cheng nodded, admitting they lived in the same community, but said it was helpless. After divorce, the house was given to the ex-wife. Now he and his wife lived in the same community with his parents. At present his company was financially difficult, plus the bride price given to his wife's family for the marriage, and other miscellaneous expenses. The family had no savings to buy another house, so when he had money later he would consider buying another house. Then he said, even if living in the same community, so what, he had not done anything excessive. Bing Bing hearing this, instantly disagreed, loudly accusing her husband, "You go to your ex-wife's house to see your child every few days. Have you thought about your new wife's feelings?" Xiao Cheng hurriedly defended, "When did I go every few days? And anyway it was simply to see the child, not doing anything shameful." The wife, seeing her husband making excuses, angrily accused, "And you still have the nerve to say? Last time why did I block you and your ex-wife together in her home? Did you forget?" Then Bing Bing shocked everyone again, exposing something her husband and ex-wife did that she absolutely could not tolerate.
孩子在他跟他前妻那儿就是一个见面的理由。我跟他在一块儿之后没事儿，基本上他下班，他晚上一般是7点钟下班见不到人，3两头了，我已经回来了，但是不上楼，在底下。当时我们那个小区楼下有一个那个沙堆，专门小孩去玩的，他就陪他儿子在里边打滚。
我自己的孩子跟我玩，
然后呢，过了一会儿，
我是跟我前妻玩的吗？
你听我说完。
对，
就准备说到你前妻的事儿呢。两个人一块把小孩抱起来，然后一块回到他前妻家里边去了。走到家门口了，两人进去了。但是在那一天敲他们家前妻门的时候，我手都是抖的，我犹豫了很长时间。
为什么紧张？
因为我不知道我会看见什么画面，发生什么在里面。
能有什么呢？
而且里边我能听见声音呀。
你听见什么声音了？
Bing Bing said, her husband often did not come home after work, either going to his ex-wife's to see the child, or meeting his ex-wife with the child downstairs. Then the two would play with the child together. Once when she came home, she saw her husband, who usually was clean and had a bit of a cleanliness habit, directly rolling in the sand pile with his son, while normally if there was a little dirt at home he would complain, but now he did not mind dirt. Seeing the two playing so happily, she did not want to leave a bad impression on the child, so she did not greet them and went home another way. But after waiting a long time, her husband did not return, so she directly went to the ex-wife's home. The ex-wife, opening the door, looked very flustered, and her hands seemed to be washing something, wet and not yet dried. The husband hurriedly explained, it was just now after playing with sand, he was giving the child a bath. The wife did not give her husband a chance to explain, directly retorting, "Giving the child a bath? Why was your hair wet?" The husband stammered, saying he was dirty, and afraid to be scolded by her if he returned home, so he washed himself there. Bing Bing hearing this became emotional, angrily replying, "Your own home is not far, is it? And besides I did not see it, who knows what you two did?" Xiao Cheng, seeing his wife pouring dirty water on him like this, instantly became emotional, loudly saying, "Stop this act. You are now finding all kinds of excuses to divorce. Do you think I don't know why?" Then what the husband said shocked everyone again.
你们家彩礼那么高，你不知道是多少吗？给了他们家18万8，
这个数对不对？
不对。
怎么不对？我少你1分钱了吗？
我没嫌弃你是个二婚的，都不错了吧？
你自己什么样，你自己心里也清楚。
你给我35万、55万都不为过。
彩礼他全给他妈了， 不让我们用啊，因为那个孩子还有我前妻住一个小区里，他不愿意。我说我们出来租房住，他不愿意，必须要买房，而且必须要买新房，还要大平层。
对呀，这很正常呀。
我当时有钱吗？你符合现实情况了没有？
怎么不符合现实情况？如果没有房子，你想我会怎么办吗？我觉得你们也能看得出来，我不是那种天天就想吃软饭的人。我也想有我自己的事业。我在福建发展的很好，我现在愿意跟你回到郑州来。
口口声声你说你自己有能力，你挣的钱呢？你在福建挣的钱呢？你卡里边有1万块钱吗？
李成，
有5000块钱吗？我告诉你啊，今天我来这儿，我也是做了充足的准备，不然我不可能坐在这儿啊。他不止骗我的钱，他还骗他前男友的钱。
你从哪知道的？
我告诉你，你前男友我今天带来了。
Xiao Cheng emotionally accused his wife of being a love scammer. Before marriage, he had given her 200,000 or 300,000 yuan in total. After marriage, the wife brought not a single penny. And before marriage, the wife kept saying she was starting a business outside, but after marriage, the total in her bank cards was less than 10,000 yuan. Obviously, there was something fishy. Bing Bing, hearing this, became emotional, retorting, "What did I cheat you of? Isn't giving a bride price when marrying normal? My own mother raised me more than 20 years. Leaving the bride price with my parents, what's wrong with that? And about starting a business, how dare you even talk about that? I was starting a business in Fujian, my friends and network were all there. It was you who begged me to come back and develop here, now you blame me. Speaking of starting a business, how did you promise before marriage to help me? But after marriage, did you help? What about the car you promised? Did you buy it? I gave up my career outside for you, chose to believe you and come back, and ended up with nothing." Xiao Cheng, angered by his wife's chain of questions, furiously responded, "Stop with this act. You are finding so many excuses. Isn't it just to divorce me and find another man?" Hearing her husband say this, Bing Bing was completely enraged. "You say I cheated you, then bring out evidence, otherwise today this won't end." Xiao Cheng, angered by his wife's attitude, directly said today he came prepared. Xiao Cheng said, he even invited his wife's ex-boyfriend here. The purpose was to expose her true face. Then when Bing Bing's ex-boyfriend arrived, the scene went out of control. Bing Bing's reaction was even harder to understand.
我告诉你啊，今天我来这儿，我也是做了充足的准备，不然我不可能坐在这儿啊。他不止骗我的钱，他还骗他前男友的钱。你骗你前男友那10几万呢？
我骗我前男友10几万？你从哪知道的？
我告诉你，你前男友我今天带来了。
报人是吧？请坐。
好好看清楚。哎，
你走啥？
你走什么呀？
你走什么？是不是觉得你把柄到了？
你今天把他带过来，就是对我最大的侮辱。
坐哪？坐哪？
你别再给我装了啊！别给我装了，
就是指清你的真面目，知道吧？
坐哪去？
我不跟你玩了。
立成，哎，
不跟我玩了？你觉得这是在玩吗？
别动，别动！
你是不是觉得你的把柄来了？你控制不住了？
我告诉你，你还有脸过来找我？
我有脸，你谁有脸啊？你骗我们俩的钱，你还说我们有没有脸？
Xiao Cheng was completely angered by his wife's attitude. He invited his wife's ex-boyfriend, saying he wanted to expose his wife's true face on the spot. Bing Bing, seeing her ex-boyfriend arrive, immediately stood up without a word and was about to leave. The husband quickly stopped her, saying this matter must be made clear. Bing Bing angrily said, "This is between the two of us. Why did you call an outsider?" Then she turned and loudly accused her ex-boyfriend Xiao Dong. "You still have the face to come?" Xiao Dong, being scolded by Bing Bing, was displeased, and said, "Why can't I come? Today I came exactly to expose your true face." Immediately, Xiao Dong said his experience was very similar to Xiao Cheng's. He and Bing Bing had already sent out wedding invitations, and the engagement money was also given. But the bride-to-be Bing Bing, 2 days before the wedding, suddenly disappeared without reason. Afterwards, in order to find her, he went to her house to ask her mother-in-law-to-be, unexpectedly was directly kicked out, and afterwards could not contact Bing Bing at all, and this marriage had to end without a result. Bing Bing righteously replied, "Why I left, don't you know in your heart?" Xiao Dong was angered again by Bing Bing's attitude, loudly accusing, "Stop this set, I came today just to have you return the engagement money, and to expose you, not let you harm others again." Bing Bing, hearing the ex-boyfriend's accusation, did not yield and said, "Your money, don't you know where it went? And why I left without saying goodbye, wasn't it because of the hurtful things you did to me?" Then Bing Bing revealed at the scene an excessive thing her ex-boyfriend did to her, which even now makes her feel unbearable to recall.
我们且问一下冰冰，当时为什么在结婚前2天的时间突然间就走了？为什么？在他看来没有理由。
因为我实在是忍不了了。
什么？
因为我们家的狗。
就是我为什么说他是在骗我的钱呢？是因为在结婚之前，然后我一直不喜欢动物这个事儿嘛。第2天是带了狗都一开门，那狗一进来，哇哇哇哇，我很生气啊！一起在床上睡吧，我真的是接受不了这种事情。他直接就这样干啊！然后随后因为这件事情，然后人家就直接消失了。
是因为这个事儿吗？冰冰，
我想说的是，那条狗在你眼里只是一条狗，但是它对我来说是陪了我10几年的家人。那个狗已经很老了。
Bing Bing said, when she was little her parents divorced, this dog had accompanied her for nearly 10 years, but was deliberately lost by her ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend Xiao Dong, hearing this, loudly said, "Stop making up stories. And you clearly knew I did not like dogs, yet you brought it without asking me. That's not all. You even directly let this dog sleep on the bed. The bed was full of dog hair. This I absolutely could not accept. And once the dog even peed and pooped on the bed, that made me go crazy. And moreover, the dog being lost was not me deliberately letting it go, it went out by itself and got lost." Bing Bing said, "You simply do not understand its importance to me. Although in others' eyes it was just an ordinary dog, but it was always with me in my loneliest, most helpless time. And when I was young once playing at a reservoir, I fell into the water. It was this dog that saved my life. In my heart, it was like family." Xiao Dong still did not believe Bing Bing's words, and said, "Even if because the dog accidentally got lost, this also cannot be the reason you, so close to the wedding, left without a word. Isn't this cheating in marriage and running away?" At this time, husband Xiao Chong also added, saying, "All these are her excuses, she must find some explanation for her leaving." Seeing both ex-boyfriend and current husband, 2 grown men, accusing Bing Bing, the guest teacher could not bear it anymore, and then what he said almost pushed the 2 men to lose control.
你看这2个人说的一头汗，我不是说不理解啊，你们2位是怎么处上兄弟的？
那一天就是历程，他找到我，然后他的经历跟我很像，你知道吧？
前几天之前我去找他的时候，他不是也走了吗？也去自己回福建了吗？然后我去他们家的时候，我也闹了一番。
是他吵的时候，然后他邻居来了，然后觉得我们俩很冤，然后
热心的邻居觉得你们本是天涯沦落人，
把他联系方式给我了，然后我就找到了他，喝了个酒，
于是你们2个吃个饭，喝个酒，这个是让我很有趣的一件事情啊。作为前辈晚辈2个人一起，这个所债者联盟，
我觉得很同病相怜呀。
啊，我想到
同时被他给骗，这个女人，
之前对了稿没有？
不是，我们实话实说，对什么稿？我把他叫过来是当证人的，
对啊，是实话实说啊。对，你是要钱的是吧？
对，我是要钱的。
浩辰不要钱是吧？
我现在结婚了，我觉得6万块钱说小不小，
你要不要？
我要。
你刚才不是说不要吗？说我这个人不在乎钱，
我可以不要。
那就要不要？
要。你不了解，你知道吧？就是
我肯定
不了解。如果你遇见我们这种情况，你不急吗？
我没遇见过呀，我没有遇见过。我在想，
所以你在这光说我们俩。
The guest teacher, seeing the 2 men accusing Bing Bing together, asked, "Are you 2 now called the debt-collecting alliance? Why bother? After all, both of you once had a beautiful time with this woman. And today's matter is between the couple. What are you, an ex-boyfriend, doing here? Before when you made a scene at her house we won't talk about, now coming here acting so righteous, why?" Xiao Dong was not yielding, replying that he came to get back his engagement money. Bing Bing said, "Your so-called engagement money was already spent when you had that car accident, now still bringing it up?" Then at the scene they began to settle accounts one by one.
6万块钱是在我这儿放着了，出了一个小车祸，不算太严重吧，但是也是做手术，而且包括牙齿也碎了。就光做手术单纯的治疗费用差不多是将近4万，还不算后面的后期他的疗养费，将近算下来是快5万块钱。
然后我来只是为了就是给这个兄弟然后证明一下，但是他刚才对我那些解释，确实我之前也有做了不对，就是我们相处这1年半里面双方都有付出，就当做是一段最美好的回忆吧。那6万块钱要不要都无所谓了，
回吧。
我当时刚开始我从郑州到福建那边的时候，我们刚开始起步比较早，所以说确实最近这几年确实是发展的比较好，我那几个朋友也很舍不得我。
你先告诉我，你现在是要和他分开，还是说要和他继续走下去？
我想回福建了，现在。
好，这是你自己说的啊， 我告诉你啊，想回去是吧？你可以回去。张浩晨的脑子有问题，我不是傻子。你该走走，想去哪儿去哪儿，把我的钱还给我。
Maybe it was as Bing Bing said, the money for the medical treatment was already spent. Maybe ex-boyfriend Xiao Dong thought of the relationship they once had, and then said he is married now, and he is over it, this money is not much, forget it, then left the scene. Seeing the helper her husband brought leave, the wife suddenly changed attitude, saying she originally had a good career in Fujian, and many suitors, but chose to come back for him. Now he doubts she came to cheat feelings and money. What need is there to continue this marriage? Husband Xiao Cheng hearing this was angered, loudly saying, "Stop this act, your ex-boyfriend was fooled by you, do you think I am that easy to fool? You want to leave, right? All the bride price and expenses must be returned, then you can go wherever you want." The host quickly intervened, persuading them, saying, "Two people being able to come this far is not easy, don't destroy the marriage because of impulse." But the two still kept accusing each other, quarreling endlessly. Xiao Cheng was determined, saying, "Even if I have to go through legal channels, I will definitely get my money back." He believed this marriage was a scam from the start, and he absolutely could not foolishly accept loss. Bing Bing, hearing this, collapsed emotionally, coldly saying, "Since you have already decided I am a scammer, then this marriage cannot continue anymore." Finally, under the eyes of everyone, she admitted she would return part of the money, but emphasized not all would be returned. Thus, this flash marriage only lasted a few days, and ended on stage in the most torn-apart way. Truth or lies are hard to distinguish, but the struggle between money, trust, and marriage once again makes people sigh.
This marriage, from beginning to end, lasted only a few days, yet it revealed the cruel tearing between money and trust. 188,000 yuan bride price, plus a set of gold jewelry, which should have been the promise of marriage, became the fuse of quarrel. On the third day after marriage, an absurd agreement to cut off father-son relationship completely ignited conflict. Xiao Cheng, furious, even invited the ex-boyfriend, exposing Bing Bing's true face on the spot, and the scene once became a debt-collecting alliance. And the ending was equally lamentable. Bing Bing only agreed to return part of the money. Xiao Cheng firmly stated, even if he goes to court, he will get all the money back. So was this Bing Bing's scheme, or Xiao Cheng's naivety? Some say Bing Bing was a scammer, using marriage to get money. Others believe Xiao Cheng impulsively rushed into a flash marriage, and it was destined to be a tragedy. Is this really marriage, or just a transaction? In this flash marriage tragedy, who is the real victim? If it were you, would you choose to accept loss or insist to the end? Welcome to leave your thoughts in the comments. Let more people judge. If you like this video, don't forget to give a like and subscribe. See you next time.